Hi, I'm Grace, and today on our little story corner, I'm going to read a book to you called Thank You, Amelia Bedelia. And it's got a little picture of Amelia Bedelia on the cover with her wearing a kind of an apron and throwing flowers everywhere. So let's see if we can find out why they're thanking her. So the book, just so you know, is a story by Peggy Parish. And the pictures in here, which are very nice, were by Barbara Siebel Thomas. They are based on the original drawings of Fritz Siebel. So apparently she's probably related to this guy, and then she finished them up. So on the first page, we see a lady on the stairs calling down to Amelia, and Mrs. Rogers was all in a dither. Great Aunt Myra is coming today. Now that is nice, Amelia Bedelia said. I do love company. So now they're just kind of talking here, and we've been trying for years to get her to visit, said Mrs. Rogers, but Great Aunt Myra says the only place she feels at home is at home. So everything must be exactly right. We do want her to be happy here. Now, don't you worry your head, said Amelia Bedelia. I'll fix everything. What should I do first? So here's a couple pictures for this page. I'll show you this page. And, the guest room must be made ready. Strip the sheets off the bed. Remake it with new rosebud sheets. She's got the picture of the rosebud sheets here. And then Amelia Bedelia says, thank goodness you're here. So she takes the sheets and the bedding over to the bedroom. Says Amelia Bedelia went to the guest room. These folks have odd ways. Imagine stripping sheets after you use them. So then she sees the bed and takes the sheets off and says Amelia Bedelia shook her head, but she stripped those sheets. Now, her way of stripping them is to rip them apart. That doesn't sound so good. So then, now you'll see she's at the door, and there's someone with a bunch of packages. Amelia Bedelia had just finished when the doorbell rang. That must be the laundryman with Mr. Rogers' shirts, called Mrs. Rogers. Let's see if I can do that like Mrs. Rogers. That must be the laundryman with Mr. Rogers' shirts. Please check them and make sure they're all there. Amelia Bedelia hurried to the door and took the package. There's several packages. Oh, she's got the shirts all out. Amelia Bedelia opened the package. She unfolded each shirt. 2 sleeves, 1 collar, 1 pocket, and 6 buttons. Yes, they are all here. So, oh my, I don't know if she's going to be painting on the shirts. There's not a thing missing, said Amelia Bedelia. Now to check them. It would be a sight easier to buy them already checked, said Amelia Bedelia, but she quickly checked each shirt. I think she's drawing a check mark on them with paint. Mrs. Rogers came downstairs in a rush. Amelia Bedelia, my bright pink dress has spots in it. She's holding out a jar. Please remove them with this spot remover. Leave the dress out. I'll wear it tonight. Now I must go to the market. So she's like, she'll just go. She's leaving a little jar of spot remover for Amelia there. She gets out the dress as instructed. She's doing exactly as she was told. Amelia Bedelia looked at the bright pink dress. I don't see any spots. This dress just needs washing. Then another dress caught Amelia Bedelia's eye. Oh, I see. Look at this one. She must have meant her light pink dress. Now that one is spotted. Amelia Bedelia held the dress up. It looks mighty nice with the spots in it, but I guess she's tired of it that way. So you see, she's going to use the spot remover on the spotted dress. Amelia Bedelia put spot remover on each spot. Then she waited. Nothing happened. I didn't think that stuff would work, said Amelia Bedelia. She got the scissors, and Amelia Bedelia removed every spot from that dress with the scissors. She cut them out. I didn't think that's what they wanted. Just my opinion. And now here are the ladies coming back from the market. Amelia Bedelia, called Mrs. Rogers, please take these groceries. Amelia Bedelia ran to take the bag. Here are some roses, too. Do scatter them around the living room. I must get my hair done now. While I'm gone, wash all the vegetables and string the beans. If you have time, make a jelly roll. Great Aunt Myra does love a jelly roll, Mrs. Rogers said. So here is Amelia Bedelia with the same picture that's on the front of the book, throwing the flowers everywhere. Amelia Bedelia stopped in the living room. Seems like roses would look nicer sitting proper like in vases, but if she wants them scattered, scattered they will be. And so that's exactly what she did. She threw them all around the room. Seeing a pattern here. Then Amelia Bedelia, she's going into the kitchen to get some of the stuff done with the food. Amelia Bedelia went to the kitchen and got the groceries out of the bag. She washed all the vegetables, and then she found a ball of string, and Amelia Bedelia strung all those beans. Now, I come from a country folk, so I can tell you what to string the beans means is that there's a little part that goes along the edge of them that's like a string, and you pull that off because it's a little tough to chew. So that's what was meant by it, but what she did involved a needle and thread. And now, see what she's got there, some jelly. And she's trying to make a jelly roll. Jelly roll! Exclaimed Amelia Bedelia. I never heard tell of jelly rolling, but Amelia Bedelia got out a jar of jelly. Amelia Bedelia tried again and again, but she could not get that jelly to roll. Nope, didn't do it. So here now she is making something with some flour and mixing up a batch of something. Amelia Bedelia washed her hands. Good job. She got out a mixing bowl. Amelia Bedelia began to mix a little of this and a pinch of that. Great Aunt Myra or no Great Aunt Myra, there's not going to be any rolling jelly in this house tonight, said Amelia Bedelia. Oh, now here's another picture of her with the vegetables and some eggs also. And Mr. and Mrs. Rogers arrived home at the same time. Mrs. Rogers called, Amelia Bedelia, please separate 3 eggs and pare the other vegetables that you washed. I'll do the cooking. Then she and Mr. Rogers hurried upstairs to dress. So, here's Amelia. She's got an egg here on top of the stove. And then she's looking at the vegetables on the next page. Amelia Bedelia took out 3 eggs. I wonder why they need to be separated. They've been together all day and nothing happened. But Amelia Bedelia separated those eggs. So she put one on top of the stove. She put one on the shelf. So I'm not sure where she put the other one, but they are separated from the other eggs. And pare the vegetables. Amelia Bedelia laughed. Here, you 2 go together, and you 2. Now be careful, or I'll be separating you, too. So she's putting types of vegetables together, and she's threatening them with separating them like she did with the eggs. And now, there's a really pretty picture of Mrs. Rogers, and that must be Amelia with the sheets. Amelia Bedelia went up to Mrs. Rogers' room. "What should I do with these stripped sheets?" she asked. "Stripped sheets?" exclaimed Mrs. Rogers, but she got no further. Mr. Rogers roared. Okay, here's Mr. Rogers. I see what's going on here. She didn't paint a check mark on the shirts. She made them into checked shirts with checkerboard checks. Mr. Rogers roared, "What in thunderation happened to my shirts?" "Oh, you don't like the big checks? I didn't have time to do little ones, but I will next time," promised Amelia Bedelia. "And my dress!" Here's Mrs. Rogers. There's her dress with the little spots cut off of them. And she says, "My dress!" exclaimed Mrs. Rogers. "It's full of holes." "Yes, ma'am. I removed every single spot," said Amelia Bedelia. So here they are coming down the stairs, not in that dress. And before Mrs. Rogers could say any more, the doorbell rang. "Great Aunt Myra," said Mr. and Mrs. Rogers. They rushed to the front door. Oh, and that must be Great Aunt Myra in the red outfit there. "Good evening, grandniece. Good evening, grandnephew. My, that trip made me hungry," said Great Aunt Myra. So here they are going through the house with Great Aunt Myra in her red dress and Mr. and Mrs. Rogers helping with the luggage there. "I'll cook dinner right now," said Mrs. Rogers. Everybody went to the kitchen. Now here they are in the kitchen, and Amelia Bedelia is holding up her strings of beans. "Amelia Bedelia, did you string the beans?" asked Mrs. Rogers. "Yes. See, they do give such a homey look," said Amelia Bedelia. Yeah, that looks very quaint. And then they said, "Where are the eggs that I asked you to separate?" said Mrs. Rogers. Well, Amelia said, "Here's one. One is behind the clock. That's why I couldn't see it before. And the other is over there." "Did I separate them far enough apart?" asked Amelia Bedelia. Mrs. Rogers said nothing, so Amelia Bedelia went on. And here she's showing her the vegetables. "And I paired the vegetables. They went together real well. And there weren't any left over." Mrs. Rogers, slapped her hand on the table. Oop, I think she hit a fruit there, a vegetable. It hit right in a sticky slob. "Oh, what is that?" she shouted. And now you see her hands are all red. Uh-oh. "Jelly. I tried to make it roll, but it just plip-plopped all over the place," said Amelia Bedelia. "Amelia Bedelia!" exclaimed Mrs. Rogers. "How do you get things so mixed up?" Now she's going over by the stove, Amelia is. "Things mixed up? Oh, I plumb forgot," said Amelia Bedelia, so she hurried to the stove. Okay, now she's got a pie. Amelia Bedelia opened the oven door. Great Aunt Myra sat straight up and sniffed. "Hot apple pie, I do declare. Now that's the kind of mixed up thing I like." Now, nobody asked her to make the pie, so that was pretty fortuitous, wasn't it? Now you see they're all having some pie. Yummy. Great Aunt Myra announced, "Grandniece, grandnephew, I like it here." "Oh, Great Aunt Myra, we're so glad," said Mr. and Mrs. Rogers. They both began to talk at once, but Great Aunt Myra wasn't much for words. She had her eyes on that last piece of pie. Great Aunt Myra put the last piece of pie on her plate. Then she said, "Grandniece, grandnephew, I will visit you often. That Amelia Bedelia really knows how to make a body feel at home. Thank you, Amelia Bedelia." Amelia Bedelia smiled. she and Great Aunt Myra would get along. So Amelia Bedelia might have done everything wrong, but she did everything right for Great Aunt Myra, and all's well that ends well. So I hope you like this story. I'm sorry if I talk a little fast, and you can always watch it again if you need to catch up. Thank you, guys.